Hey everyone, this is Joe from Arizona Fine Time doing our very first review for you today on the Grand Seiko Spring Drive Chronograph SBGC003. Now this model was only originally sold in the Japanese domestic market, so we're very excited to finally have it here in the US and to be doing this review for you today. Now basically this model just differs from the 001 in dial color. This is going to have a black matte lacquer dial, which is very contrasting to the hands and indexes, making for great legibility. You can see that the chronograph pushers on this are very large, which is great for actual usage. You can see this screw, as I'm turning it here, basically pushes up what would be like a collar underneath the actual pusher. So the lip of the pusher stops the collar and keeps it securely locked. Now when you unlock it, you have your ready, set, go system of the spring drive chronograph, which basically acts kind of like a camera shutter. You push and hold down on it slightly to brace yourself for the start of the timing, and then when you're ready, push down fully. You'll feel the click and engage the chronograph. Now, this is very helpful for precise timing and not only start but stop, and also gives an immaculate accuracy of spring drive, which you can't get any better than that in a mechanically driven watch. So you can see the fluid motion of the second hand, both the chronograph second hand and the subdial at the 9 o'clock for your actual seconds. You stop the chronograph there, and when you push the reset, it flies back very quickly and realigns perfect every time. They use a triple-headed hammer basically to realign the hours, minutes, and second hand of the chronograph instantaneously when you push that reset button. So another great benefit of this is going to be your vertical clutch and column wheel system, which I'll get into momentarily. There's also a GMT on this model, which is great. You have a secondary time zone. Basically, this works as a true GMT. You're going to pull the crown out one click to independently adjust your hour hand, and that way you never distort the perfect timekeeping that spring drive has. So that way you're changing time zones, pull out the crown real quick and adjust for where you're headed. So, as I mentioned, it's completely fluid motion. Another great part about this watch, this is going to have a full 72-hour power reserve, even if you are running the chronograph. Now, that's unusual because typically driving the chronograph will actually derail or shorten the lifespan of the power reserve. With this particular system, basically Seiko has their own wheel gear that has 10 different parts and allows about a fifth of the amount of power that's necessary to actually run the chronograph while you're keeping time. So it's a really impressive technology that Seiko has. Pretty much everything about this watch is unique, and you can really appreciate all of the factors that go into the making of these watches. There's only a handful of watchmakers who are actually capable of building the 9R86 movement, and you can see here it's beautifully decorated, but you can actually see your column wheel, which is used for engaging the chronograph. And always make sure you check to push the right pusher before you actually do. But I'll show you how it engages here. When you push to start, you can see that click, and that's engaging your chronograph. Push it again, that will stop it, and then your reset button on the lower side. So the column wheel actually is beneficial. Let's say you accidentally push the lower button, the reset button, when you weren't supposed to. That actually helps prevent any problems. And because of the amazing engineering capabilities that Seiko has, they basically have made it smoother and more precise. So you can see this model has the micro-adjustable clasp, only found on the chronograph and diver models. You can see the Zaratsu katana blade polishing technique, a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. It's actually a slightly domed sapphire crystal. It looks beautiful. The curvature to the case on Grand Seiko is incredible as well. Very well planned out design, and beautifully constructed to curve and hug the wrist perfectly. As always, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to call us at 1-800-486-3996 and check us out on azfinetime.com.